Hey everyone, welcome to another match of Temur Hooting Delver. Today we are playing against mono white tokens. Opening hand is good. We have Delver, Serum Visions, Permission, and Traverse. Only thing that would make this a better opening hand would be if we had some removal as well. So we're going to go fetch. We can get an island or steam vents, doesn't really matter. Probably go for island first, throw our opponent off a bit. Play a plains. Playing a bit slowly. But let's see what's going to come down. Okay, Legion's Landing. That's interesting. So they created 1/1 vampire token. And seems like we're playing some brewish tokens deck, at least offhand. Delver flips because of Serum Vision, so we're going to we're just going to attack in and wait. Potentially counter turn 2 play. Yeah, that would be a good counter target. Don't want to have to deal with that. Interesting card to play main deck, I suppose. We'll take the 1 and we'll live with it. We draw Hooting Mandrills, which is good. We can cast that next turn potentially. Could also cast it this turn, but there are other things we want to do. Don't need Thought Scour or Stomping Ground. Probably makes sense to play Serum Visions again. Yeah, and we can then slam down Hooting Mandrills. So don't want Force of Negation because I don't think we're going to be playing a non-creature heavy deck. I chose not to play Hooting Mandrills. Not too sure why. In retrospect, that was probably a mistake. I mean, there's nothing that I'm threatening with here. You know, putting my foot in my mouth, just 30 seconds ago, I said there's not going to be a lot of non-creature spells we want to counter. But Intangible Virtue is definitely a spell we don't want to, an enchantment we don't want to deal with. So, yeah, I guess good thing we had Force of Negation there. I'm still not playing Hooting Mandrills. I'm trying to figure out why. I think my thought process here is actually that I need to... I want to get Delirium active so that I can cast Traverse. And so that we can go get a Tarmogoyf. Before that comes down, I'm going to... Yeah, kill Kythian. Because I don't want to have to deal with him. And now we have 4 card types, which means I can go get my Tarmogoyf. Draw Lightning Bolt, which is great, actually. Still can't play Tarmogoyf this turn, but I can at least traverse for it. Yeah. Next turn, we can play it. And then we could cast Hooting Mandrills a bit more confidently. So, still don't have 3 creatures on our opponent's end, so Legion's Landing is doing nothing, which is nice. It's always nice. Those tokens do have lifelink, which is a bit annoying. They're just prolonging this game. I guess that is the point of those tokens. But we have enough firepower to deal with them. Okay, more tokens being created. So be it. We still have a flyer, and our opponent does not have an answer to Delver of Secrets yet, so... Opponent fetches 4 another planes. Lingering Souls. Yep. Well, they got their answer to Delver's Secrets. And now they're going to be able to get the Legion's Landing trigger. And it flips. Or transforms, I should say. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to their face with that one. Not sure what my thought process was there. This is what usually happens when I'm playing decks I am not familiar with. I make weird plays. Let's see what our opponent does. They don't block Insectile Aberration. I think I was a bit confused there because I thought that's what they cast Lingering Souls for. But it looks like they want their Lingering Souls. I think they're seeing the kill in sight. They want something in the air. But we have big threats, so we are going to win this war. Okay. Intangible Virtue. Well, we could have countered it. I actually let Kythian resolve. Because, yeah, I saw Intangible Virtue coming down, and that's the card I really want to get rid of right now. Their 1/1s all of a sudden become game enders, so that has to go. Kythian is definitely going to flip next turn if we don't deal with creatures on the board. Now, our opponent is down to 4, so they can't just let Tarmogoyf or Hooting Mandrills get through. And they're choosing to attack, interestingly enough. Not something I would do, but hey, so be it. Maybe they're missing the fact that Hooting Mandrills has trample. Yeah. We get Breeding Pool. Not exactly what I wanted. I was probably kicking myself because I was probably going to go fetch for a Breeding Pool at the end of our opponent's turn, but so be it. I think at this point it makes sense to attack with everyone. They're down to 4, and yeah, it's GG. Again, I think they underestimated Hooting Mandrills. It has trample, so it's over. So what do we bring in? Okay, I mean, we have Destructive Revelry for their enchantments. I don't traditionally bring in Blood Moon against 2-color decks, but given what we saw, I think Blood Moon could actually be a bit damaging here. But I'm not really 100% sure on the Blood Moon plan. Again, a deck that I haven't played enough of. I don't know exactly what it's running. It's tough. It's tough to know what we should bring in and what we should bring out. Engineer Explosives for sure is great. It's a blowout if they have a bunch of tokens on the battlefield. I removed Force of Negation, even though it did help us in game 1. I don't think it's necessary. We brought in other answers for their enchantments, so I think it's good enough. Gravedigger's Cage is really purely for Lingering Souls, and we just don't want Lingering Souls at all. And I think it's worth 1 card. Or 2 cards to bring in to kind of shut that down. Our starting hand is pretty good. It's pretty good. 2 threats. Removal for their enchantment. Gravedigger's Cage for their Lingering Souls. And Permission. It's great. We're not going to have a turn 1 threat, but that's okay. Turn 1, we'll just play Gravedigger's Cage and get it over with. Our opponent is mulliganing to 5. Let's see what their turn 1 looks like. They still get a turn 1 play. Or not. They're just main phasing it. That's okay. We draw land. We're going to go... Yeah, Steam Vents. That makes sense, because we have to remember that we do have Blood Moon. Okay, that's interesting. So Spirit of the Labyrinth is going to resolve. At this point, I'm contemplating either putting down Tarmogoyf or keeping up Mana Leak mana. I opt for keeping Mana Leak mana up, and it was a good call. You know, we do have Destructive Revelry, but hey, we can get rid of it another time. We can get rid of another enchantment that's going to come down, right? So I'm just going to assume that resolves. Yes, it does. We now have 3/4 Tarmogoyfs. That's nice. And we have a Delver of Secrets. Look at that. Just look at that. Yeah. So we're going to play Delver and we're going to play Tarmogoyf. Right. Path to Exile. Well, we did see that they're going to play Auriok Champion next. That's annoying. So we do have 2 islands in the deck, which means we can go get it. Auriok Champion is going to be an issue if we don't find an answer for it soon because of that incremental life gain. You're going to go to attack in first. And then we're going to play Tarmogoyf. Ghostly Prison. Fortunately, Xmage can't render the image for some reason. But yeah, not interested in Ghostly Prison at all at the moment. Slowing our attacks down. Luckily, we have quite a bit of mana for a deck that only runs 17 lands. But still. So we could comfortably attack in. We get no blocks, which is fine by me. Next turn, it's lethal if they don't block. No, not anymore actually, because now they got up to 10 life. But it would have been lethal. Okay. Everything I just said is now null and void, but so be it. So we draw Serum Visions. Yeah, it would make sense to main phase that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to draw a card from Serum Visions, but the scry ability is still important. There we go. Tarmogoyf. That's good. We, at this point, still attack in. At least with Delver. Yeah. And we wait. And we do have Destructive Revelry in hand, so cards like Intangible Virtue will resolve, but they will do nothing. Now, this was a misplay. What I should have done... Well, I say misplay because I didn't want the Vigilance to kick in for the tokens, but it's not actually the end of the world. Nevertheless, we're going to have to use Simic Charm here and bounce their Spirit of the Labyrinth as well. So that's actually a pretty big tempo swing there. They're now left with 2 1/1 tokens that are kind of useless. we are sitting at 3 life, which means if we tack in and they get another intangible virtue or something, we're done. Now they're gonna have to block, and that's really our only saving grace. So, yeah. Dealing with resources, resource management, that's a big part of playing Temur Delver. Question is, does our opponent find an answer? Another ghostly prison. Don't think that's going to be enough at this point. Oh, and Huntmaster of the Fells. I should cast it just for the hell of it. But, no. Oh, I cast it anyway. Look at that. That's how much I want Huntmaster of the Fells to resolve. Just so I could see it on the board. It doesn't mean I don't attack in. Now, I think the main reason there is we wouldn't have killed our opponent because we didn't have enough mana to attack with all 3 creatures. So Huntmaster of the Fells made more sense. We're gonna have to pay 2 mana to attack with, well, 4 mana actually to attack with our 2 creatures. And let's see what our opponent has to say about that. And now it's GG. Thank you, Huntmaster of the Fells. You finished that game slightly faster. So, okay, I mean, this was an interesting deck. Obviously not a top tier deck, but it is a deck that goes wide. It is a deck that goes wide and then has cheap enchantments to pump their board, and that's scary. Not to mention that Intangible Virtue also gives their tokens vigilance. So if we don't have a way to answer those enchantments quickly, we get overrun within a turn or 2. So I feel like in those 2 games we did really well in keeping our opponent at bay and still trampling through with our creatures. So yeah, I think it was an interesting game to watch. Again, not a top tier deck that we're playing against, but it is what it is. Sometimes these weird fringe decks actually pose bigger threats than the top tier decks, for many reasons. Sometimes we're not sideboard. We don't have a sideboard that's necessarily constructed to deal with them. And sometimes lack of experience against a certain type of deck means we make silly mistakes. But that wasn't necessarily the case in this match. We won both games, and yeah, it was a fun game. It was a fun match to play. Hope it was fun for you to watch. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It means you get notifications in the future when I upload new videos, and it also helps support the channel. Thanks, and have a good one.